Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
Welcome back to the Champion Within podcast. Happy New Year's Eve. I want you to step into 2025 with confidence and gain clarity along the way. You don't need to have it all figured out right now, but you do need to have intention. What better way to close out this year and set the tone for your year ahead with my part 2 conversation with the incredible Dr. Joan Borden. We're chatting about the powerful connection between mind and body, why posture is the foundation of your confidence, why mindfulness is a skill worth building in the new year, and that happiness, not achievements, should be your measure of success in 2025. Here's a little secret for you. When you focus on happiness, success follows. Dr. Joan and I both use visualization, and we talk about it in part 2 of this conversation. She also shares tools for letting go of negative thoughts and how it will help you thrive. Plus, don't miss Dr. Joan's take on the basketball legend she believes was amazing at mindfulness. You'll want to carry that inspiration into the new year ahead. Let's start 2025 standing in this posture Dr. Joan shares in part 2 and fully owning your greatness. Get ready to step into your champion self. Let's go back to that posture. I'm sure
funny. I was just about to put that in there.
Yes, put that in there because I teach confidence to students, to athletes, to adults. So we need to be confident in some different situations. People think, oh, he's so confident. She's so confident. I could never be like that. I tell them all of the time, confidence is a learned skill. You can train your brain to be confident. You can do things. There's postures, there's self-talk, there's visualization. I want them to steal the posture you were going to share with them. What do you got?
So happy to share this because this and the inhalation, double exhalation, and hand on heart, that changes lives. The hand on heart, I wouldn't do with the posture up because that's a little bit of that takes it away from the focus. But what is posture up? It's, first of all, let's all do it right now together. We don't have to even explain it first. So let's all think of stand up or sit up straight. We don't have to be standing. Think of the very top of your head as if you were hanging off of a hook here. What would be that top? And it goes up to the sky. Think of the very bottom of your feet. The exact point, if you were to point your toes, there's always a little indentation in back of your toes. And that is the first point on the essence of our being, the kidney channel. And what is that? That's our genetic inheritance. So we're hooking up the top of our head with what's grounding us to the earth, what's connecting us to the upright posture that we have in life, because the earth gives us gravity. And without gravity, we'd be like amphibians slinking along the ground. Right. But the upright posture, we start to think of this space. And then if you imagine some light coming in here, and that this is all imagination at first and practice. So if it seems silly to anybody, go with it. It doesn't matter. It's a game. At first, It's a game until you train your body. Just like you train in athletics, you have to train for these things. So the very top of our head, the bottom of our feet, grounded, feeling connected with the earth, and then tuck under your tailbone, kind of like a pelvic tilt. Suck in your gut. Check where your shoulders are in space. Check where your head is. And just keep your arms at the side. What I learned was anytime I check in with myself during the day, I see where is my posture. And I bring it back to that. because that is the way to train. You don't have to make a special deal out of it. It's like you're walking along and maybe you trip, or maybe you notice something, or in New York City, we're always like dodging between people and there's so much movement. And where are you in space? So, I always check in with myself and see what's happening. And I just keep bringing myself back to that same posture. And what I learned was that over time, anything we practice, and we know this, but it's not always something that's comfortable to remember because we all have a lot of things to do and think about. And however, what happens is the more we practice something that creates the path of least resistance for us, it becomes auto reset. So you don't have to really practice it anymore. It's just you.
Right.
And when you have that presence, I found for myself, even at this age, I felt more confident walking into any room, any space, really feeling like the most of myself that I have ever been. And I'm grateful for that. And so to have people who are young start off with this, and then you can add breath work to that, and then you can just move with it. It's not something you have to just stand there. However, if you choose to really strengthen yourself, I do it as a standing posture, because when you stand like that for 30 minutes with a slight bend in the knees, it really changes everything in the body. It's like a total workout.
So do you just stand, and do you have self-talk during that, or do you just stand in the posture and let yourself be? What do you do during the 30 minutes?
I stand, I breathe, and I think of nothing. I keep because it's not, I have been doing that as a posture in life.
Okay.
I haven't been doing it for 30 minutes for very long. This is something I recently put into my routine just in the last couple of weeks. And what I notice is that I start to drop the core strength. Even with weight training and all those things, it's not, weight training will create the muscle strength, but we're not used to holding it.
Right.
And when we hold it as a practice, what happens is somewhere in that space, I start to sweat profusely as though I've done huge athletics, and I'm only standing there. It's so interesting.
Joan, as soon as we get off this podcast, you know what I'm doing for 30 minutes?
Oh, well, I don't know if I would start for 30 minutes.
I know. Maybe not. Although,
start for however. Yeah, don't start for 30 minutes.
Okay. All right. You're right, Joan. All my listeners right now, don't be as crazy competitive as me. I'll start with just a couple minutes. It's going to be hard for me not to, but I won't go 30. You're right, Joan. I teach everyone that all the time. 1% better. I need to take my own advice there. I'm interested to see what happens there, because I teach kids to visualize, like we were talking about. And this is a great tip, just exactly how they should be standing. I tell them to imagine that there's a crown on their head, a king or a queen, and same thing about pulling that, anchor up, or the string, hook on your head there. And I love just, pulling your stomach in, the belly button in there, and standing there. I think for me, to be honest, the hardest part is going to be about thinking about nothing. That is going to be a challenge, but always up for a challenge. So I think it's going to be hard for me just to not think about, I say intentions every day, or think about what I need to do. But I think it could be good also just to be in that present moment and just let myself be in it. So I'm curious how it's going to go.
There's a great practice in Taoist philosophy, and it's called sit and forget. I remember the first time I heard about it. I studied with a mentor in Chinese medicine for probably about 25 years. And he's like the Dalai Lama of Chinese medicine. He teaches all over the world.
Wow.
And he was coming to a class that I was taking with a few colleagues. And he was stuck in traffic on the bridge getting over. And I said to him, well, what did you do in that time? And he said, I practiced sitting and forgetting. And I laughed. I said, what are you talking about, Jeffrey? I have no idea. He goes, well, this is the thing to clear the mind.
Yeah, what
And
is
it's
it?
what we all talk about, dropping into the void, dropping into the space,
Yeah.
because that is the space of everything. When
Mm,
we're not in the busyness of life, we have the ability to really know things that we may not have even thought of because
mm.
we're opening space. Just like I talked about opening space in the body, opening space in our minds is just as important.
Very true. I'm interested to see, how it comes for me, what comes up. Calling all coaches, teachers, and parents. Are you ready to help your student athletes level up their game in the classroom and athletically? On my podcast, we're always breaking down mindset training the right way. No fluff, just real tools that you can use to boost confidence, handle stress, and show up like a champion. I created something for you. It's actually 19 things. Stress busters for students. They're super quick and easy to learn. And don't worry, you don't need to do all 19. I just wanted you to have some options to see what you like best. Whether you're a teacher, coach, or a busy parent, maybe you hold a few of those titles. These will change the game for you and your students. Let's train smarter. After the episode, go grab it by tapping on the link in the show notes, and I'll send it right to your email. So when you're doing it, Joan, if you're standing there and you do have a thought creep in, what do you do? Of course, you would be gentle with yourself. If your mind wanders, when I do visualization with people, I say, that's actually mindfulness. Your mind is, focusing on, oh my goodness, I'm not focused here. That's mindfulness. You're noticing it. So when you are in that, what did he call it? Thinking to forget?
Sit and forget.
Sit and forget. So when you're in that sit and forget, or if you're standing in the posture to be confident, when something does creep into your brain, what do you do then? Do you have something you say, or what do you do?
It always creeps in. I
Mhm.
meditate almost every day. There's always going to be thoughts that creep
What?
in. The key is to imagine. What I do is I imagine like a whiteboard in front of me. And I allow the thoughts, I don't stop them. What I do is I just don't follow them. I just
Great tip.
breathe. And, it's like they come here, I see, and then they go. And so over time, the space between the thoughts becomes bigger.
That's a great tip.
It's
I
a
like it.
training.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes practice. Just like you were saying, we practice our physical sports, the actual skills that an athlete would use in whatever sport they're in. Same thing with your mind. I say this all the time. This is not one workshop or one podcast and you say, oh, I practiced breath with Joan and Kate one time and I got it now. This is an ongoing practice and training. You have to put this in and practice it. And you're not going to be perfect. I was just talking to a group saying, when you were a baby and you were learning to walk, nobody expected you to walk across the room perfectly the first time. They were willing to help you, and you have to do the same. You're going to be a clumsy beginner. Let yourself. And I think that's great to tell people. It's a training. I
It's
think
the grace of the beginner's mind. I used to be very different. I used to be very type A. I had to succeed. Everything was like boom, boom, boom. And then I learned that that was not helping me. I was not happy. To me, the most important thing in life, my success is measured by my happiness, my peaceful heart. And it's not about what I accomplish. It's not about who I know. It's not about what I do. It's about, am I having fun in the day? Am I happy? That's what counts to me. And it's funny that it takes a lifetime for us to remember that, because when we're young children, we know that when we're really small.
Yeah.
And then we forget because of all the socialization and all the expectation. And then we spend the rest of our lives kind of getting back there. It's really interesting how that happens.
It is so true.
It's and that's actually why what I'm doing now is something I'm super excited about. I'm starting a membership not for any great thing. I'm starting a membership of practicing all these things because my private clients, they do well, and we have time in between our sessions that there's contact. However, what's it like to have someone to practice within community? We go to yoga classes, we go to sports, trainings, we work out with a trainer or our friends. We do meditation sometimes together. But what's it like to have someone sit there? I wanted to do this for years. In fact, I would say probably 15 years ago, I used to have self-cultivation classes in my apartment when I was just starting out with this kind of concept. And people would come and we would do a lot of these vibrational things.
Mm-hmm.
And people moved. I have a client who's like in her 90s now, and she's still doing these things. And she says to me, I am doing better than any one of my friends who is alive.
Right.
Right. Who is moving. She's still, moving along. And,
That's
it's
exciting. So how can people get in touch with you? Why don't you tell people? That's a great place for us to drop that right now. Can they follow you on a website or?
Yes, I have if I think I had sent it to you, if you
Mm-hmm.
can post the link. But I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook, Joan Borden on Facebook, and on Instagram, I believe it's Dr. Joan Borden is the link.
We'll definitely put that in the show notes so they can click right on that. And as far as your membership goes, is that something that is available right now, or is that coming soon that people could get in touch with you or sign up for?
If they want to get on the waiting list, there are going to be really cool offers for people who are on the waiting list. We're starting January 2025, and it's only a month-to-month commitment because, we all have lives. But my feeling was I don't really find the one-offs for myself that effective. So at least if you have 3 sessions in a month, and then I'm going to go on and do some coaching about different challenges and a lot of different things, movement of the energy and the seasons and diet tips and all kinds of things, that just sharing all my knowledge because I have a toolbox that's huge.
Yeah, I think there's so much to gain here. And anyone who's listening to this right now, we will definitely drop the links in there, and you will not be disappointed if you connect with Joan, because like she said, she does have a toolbox full of so many things. Joan, I probably could do a whole series on all of the expertise that you have there. So if you're thinking right now, wow, Joan taught us so many things in this podcast, could you imagine if you were with Joan for this membership? It would be next level. So my listeners right now, if it's for you, if it's for someone else, and you're thinking, wow, I want to try this, most definitely go click on those links, check it out, follow, and take advantage of those people who sign up early and get those, little special bonuses if you're on the wait list. I love this, Joan, for you. And I love this for the people who are going to receive it, because there's going to be a ripple effect in the world once they learn it, and just how they show up in the world and teach other people. And you're just going to be in your pure joy doing it yourself. And I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see, how it all unfolds. That's awesome. And I do want to ask you, I ask all of my guests, and this question is one we ask everyone. If you had the opportunity for 1 week only, because we think you are amazing, to swap lives with someone, dead or alive, who are you going to choose, and why do you choose that person?
Well, I hinted, or I said this earlier in the podcast, but, I have to say, I would really like to be Michael Jordan when he was, in my mind's eye, I see him running down the court when he was playing the Knicks in New York City in Madison Square Garden. I had the great opportunity to sit up really close when I went with my dad to games, and there was nothing so breathtaking as seeing that. I mean, I can see it. It was magic. It was so smooth, and to know how to be in the zone like that changes life for everything, not just basketball, clearly, but to have presence, focus, ability to just be in that moment of actuality. That I would love to have experienced.
Yeah, what a great choice. I love Michael Jordan. I love basketball, and he is one of my favorite players. I just love him. I grew up watching him. To be Michael Jordan for that week would be really epic. And you may or may not know this, but I wear Nike sneakers everywhere I go. And if there's new Jordans that are out, you better believe that I'm going to be getting them. And that's what I wear with speaking engagements, workshops. And people are always saying, "Oh, I love your sneakers." I'm like, "Yeah, the new Jordans." Like, I love them. It's just part of who I am now. I was a phys ed teacher for a long time. And my son recently interviewed me and said, "Well, what was one of the most fun things when you were a phys ed teacher?" I talked about participating in the actual movement with my students and having fun. And I also mentioned wearing cool sneakers. I love Jordan. So I just think he would be a really cool mindset, and you would look good with those sneakers on your feet. So, but great choice. And no one has ever picked Michael Jordan before, surprisingly, in all of my guests. So,
And I have to add something.
Sure.
Phil Jackson, when he was with them, he really introduced into major athletics, elite athletics, mindset work, because that's what he really incorporated into their many championships. Yes.
Very cool. Yeah. I've learned some recent coaches right now in the NBA and different sports that are very much involved in the mindset work and aligned with it. But I didn't know that about him. It's really cool. I'll have to now go look and see some of the things he was doing. That's cool. I love it. Well, Joan, thank you so much for joining us. I know people are going to be messaging me saying, "This was a great episode. I learned so much. I can't wait to try these things." I myself learned so many things, and I'm going to be definitely trying and using these things for myself, with my clients, my children. Thank you. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. As I said to everyone, we will be dropping all of those links in the show notes. All you have to do is click on them so you can connect with Joan, follow along, sign up for her membership, connect with her, and you can learn all of these things too and so much more. So thank you for joining us on The Champion Within today, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much, Kate. It was such a pleasure.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of The Champion Within. I want to send a huge thank you to Dr. Joan Borden for sharing her incredible wisdom and tools with us, and for a great conversation. You are amazing, Dr. Joan. I have no doubt it will help all of us step into the new year with confidence and clarity. I'm already using that posture tool, and I'm competitive. I've been trying to add minutes each time I try it. I'm also working on being present in each moment of my life. I feel like I've taken it up a notch thanks to this conversation with Dr. Joan. Being focused on being present is a total game changer in every area of life. Here's how it's been helping me, and I think you should steal it too. As a mom, being present allows me to truly connect with my kids. I can listen without being distracted, celebrate their wins, show up for the little moments, and that really means everything to them and me. It helps me respond with patience and love, even when things feel really overwhelming. That happens often. As a woman, presence gives me space to appreciate myself. I don't do that enough. My strengths, my growth, my journey. It's really a reminder to breathe, reflect, and honor who I am without getting lost in that endless to-do list. Through the holidays even, let's face it, it can be chaotic and stressful. I really focused on staying present, and it helped me to soak in all of the fun, joyful moments, and it let me enjoy what was really important instead of stressing out about everything being perfect. I try to focus on being present all the time. I have even taken it up a notch while working out, whether it's lifting heavy weight, cardio workout, out for a run, even just a simple stretch. I've been present, meaning that I'm focusing on my form, my progress, and my goals. I'm not thinking, I ate too many cookies over the holiday, I need to work it off. No, I'm thinking about being connected to my mind and body, the fact that I'm able to move my body, and that I get to do these things, making every movement intentional and meaningful. It has been really a difference in the way I feel showing up during the workout and afterwards. And when I'm working with athletes, I just finished the end of my year with a swim team, and teaching athletes in general always, but when I'm focused on being present on a deeper level, teaching this to athletes, it's one of the most powerful tools I share. When athletes can stay in the present, they find confidence within themselves, they can make smarter decisions and bounce back from mistakes faster. Presence is literally their superpower. Within my own business and when I'm helping other businesses, it's going to be a goal of mine through this new year. As I do that, I want to remind these clients of mine and myself that we need to stay present so that we can hear our clients' goals, their challenges, and their vision. It's really going to help them guide themselves and their clients with intention and offer practical solutions to those issues. I don't typically have a list of New Year's resolutions. I do want to continue to be focused on being present. Presence is my anchor in all areas. It helps me show up fully, live intentionally, and create that ripple effect that I want to see in the world. As you welcome in 2025, I challenge you to decide on purpose to make it a year of growth, intention, and happiness. Remember, success starts with how you show up. Mindset, presence, and belief in your inner champion are the keys. I want to wish you a happy new year filled with purpose, power, and possibility. As always, I'm rooting for you.
Thank you for hanging out with Kate today. And whether you're going to coach, teach, cheer from the sidelines, or hitting the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show for the latest episodes, as we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and sanity in our busy lives. Now, go and unleash your champion within you, one step at a time. We're always rooting for you.